What if I told you that the most powerful food forest in the world doesn't require acres of land? It requires only a pot, some patience, and the wisdom that ancient civilizations carried for thousands of years. Today, we are going to walk through 20 fruit trees, each one with a history older than most nations, each one producing real living food in a container no larger than a whiskey barrel. And number 7 on this list, it sustained entire Mediterranean empires. Number 14 was cultivated by monks in mountain monasteries for over 1,000 years. And number 17, this one was once traded ounce for ounce with gold. Stay with us through all 20. The last one may quietly change the way you see your windowsill forever.
Dwarf Meyer lemon, citrus times Meyery. Originating in China and introduced to the West in 1908, the Meyer lemon is a natural cross between a true lemon and a mandarin orange. Rich in vitamin C, flavonoids, and limonene, compounds linked to immune function and cellular protection, this tree produces abundantly in containers year-round. On the homestead, plant it in a 15-gallon pot with well-draining citrus mix. Bring it indoors before frost. It will reward you with fruit within 2 years of planting. Kumquat, Fortunella margarita. The kumquat has been cultivated in China since at least the 12th century. Unlike any other citrus, you consume the entire fruit, skin and all, delivering a concentrated source of fiber, vitamin A, and powerful antioxidants in a single bite. In containers, kumquats remain naturally compact. They thrive in full sun and tolerate periods of drought with remarkable composure. Dwarf pomegranate, Punica granatum, Nana. The pomegranate appears in ancient Egyptian art, in Hebrew scripture, and in Greek mythology. Modern science has confirmed what ancient healers observed. Pomegranate is one of the most antioxidant-dense fruits known, with documented effects on cardiovascular health. The dwarf variety reaches only 3 feet tall, ideal for a sunny patio or south-facing window. It begins fruiting within its first season. The fig is perhaps humanity's oldest cultivated fruit, with evidence of deliberate propagation dating back 11,000 years in the Jordan Valley. It is dense in calcium, potassium, and prebiotic fiber. A single fig tree in a large container, 15 to 20 gallons, will produce 2 harvests annually. Prune it hard each spring. It will not disappoint.
Olive, Olea europaea. The olive tree is a living monument to endurance. Individual specimens in the Mediterranean are confirmed to be over 2,000 years old. Olives provide monounsaturated fats essential for brain and cardiovascular health, and they contain oleuropein, a compound with potent anti-inflammatory properties. Dwarf varieties like Arbequina are fully container adapted and begin producing in 3 to 4 years. But we are just getting started. If you believe that real nutrition begins with real growing, not a label on a package, take a moment to press that like button. It tells us this matters to you. Now, let's keep going. Calamandan orange. A traditional fruit of the Philippines and Southeast Asia, the calamandan orange has been used in folk medicine for generations to address digestive complaints and immune resilience. Small, tart, and extraordinarily productive, this tree will cover itself in fruit even in partial shade, a remarkable quality among citrus varieties. It thrives in 8 to 12-gallon pots with ease. Dwarf mulberry. Mulberries sustained the Silk Road.
For centuries, the Chinese cultivated Morus alba primarily for its leaves to feed silkworms, but the fruit itself is extraordinarily nourishing, providing iron, resveratrol, and anthocyanins in concentrations rarely matched in the fruit world. The Issai dwarf variety is self-fertile and will begin producing in its very first year in a large container. This is a tree the ancient world depended upon, and one your household can too. The patio peach originated in China over 4,000 years ago, carried west along trade routes until it reached the Persian Empire, from which it takes its Latin name. Rich in beta-carotene, vitamin C, and potassium, dwarf patio peach varieties reach only 4 feet in height. Plant in at least a 15-gallon container in full sun. Thin the fruit early to ensure size and sweetness. Dwarf apple, Malus domestica, columnar varieties. Columnar apple varieties, bred for vertical growth, produce full-sized apples on a trunk no wider than a human fist. The apple has been cultivated for more than 4,000 years, and its fiber, quercetin, and malic acid content make it a genuinely functional food. Plant 2 columnar varieties for cross-pollination. In containers, these trees remain 4 to 6 feet tall. In yield, they are fully capable. Guava, Psidium guayava. Guava has been cultivated across tropical South America for at least 5,000 years. Gram for gram, it contains more vitamin C than almost any citrus, 4 times the daily recommended intake in a single fruit. Dwarf varieties are container perfect and will fruit twice yearly in warm climates or bright indoor environments. This next one is even more remarkable. 10 fruits in, each one with centuries of evidence behind it. If you're building a real food system, even in an apartment, share this video with someone who needs to see it. Now let's finish what we started. Dwarf avocado, Persea americana, holiday. The avocado was first cultivated in Mexico and Central America approximately 5,000 years ago. Modern nutritional science confirms it as one of the densest sources of monounsaturated fat, folate, and potassium available from any fruit. The holiday and Wurtz varieties are bred specifically for container growing. Use a 20-gallon pot. Fruit typically arrives within 3 to 4 years. Loquat, Areobatria japonica. The loquat has been cultivated in China for over 1,000 years and arrived in Japan, where it became deeply embedded in traditional medicine. It is rich in beta-carotene, potassium, and pectin, a soluble fiber that supports gut health and glycemic balance. Loquats are drought-tolerant, evergreen, and produce early spring fruit at a time when almost nothing else is ready. They adapt beautifully to containers of 15 gallons or more. Passion fruit, native to South America and consumed by indigenous peoples long before European contact, passion fruit contains alkaloids and flavonoids that traditional healers use to address anxiety and sleeplessness, properties now being studied in clinical research. Trained on a small trellis in a container on a sunny balcony, a single passion fruit vine produces abundantly. This is functional beauty. Dwarf plum, Prunus domestica, Pixie. The plum was cultivated in monastery gardens across medieval Europe, where monks understood its role in supporting digestion, a function now attributed to its high sorbitol and anthocyanin content. Pixie and other true dwarf plums reach 4 feet in containers and require only one companion for cross-pollination. plant in a 15-gallon pot. Their blossom in early spring alone is worth the effort.
Barbados cherry, Malpighia emarginata. The Barbados cherry, also called acerola, contains the highest concentration of natural vitamin C of any known fruit, up to 65 times that of an orange, gram for gram. Ancient peoples of the Caribbean consumed it as a primary food and medicine. In warm climates, it flourishes in a 10-gallon container with minimal care. If you grow only one fruit for immune nutrition, this may well be it.
15 trees, each one a piece of living history, each one asking nothing more than a pot, some sun, and your attention. If this kind of knowledge belongs in more homes, leave a comment telling us which of these 15 you're already growing or planning to. Let's keep building. Dwarf pear, Pyrus communis, semi-dwarf. Pears have been cultivated in China for approximately 3,000 years. Dense in copper, vitamin K, and soluble fiber, particularly pectin, they are a genuinely ancient functional food. Semi-dwarf varieties container well at 15 to 20 gallons. Like apples, they benefit from a companion tree for pollination, and they reward patience. The finest flavor develops only after years of establishment.
And now, number 17. This small, unassuming tropical berry was once traded at prices rivaling gold in European courts, where it was brought by explorers from West Africa in the 18th century. The miracle berry contains miraculin, a glycoprotein that binds to taste receptors and transforms sour flavors into sweetness for up to an hour. For those managing blood sugar or reducing refined sugar intake, its applications are remarkable. It grows in containers in acidic, well-drained soil and requires a humid, warm environment, indoors or on a sheltered patio.
Natal plum, Carissa macrocarpa. Indigenous to the coastal regions of South Africa, the Natal plum produces deep red berries rich in vitamin C, calcium, and magnesium. Traditional healers used it for cardiovascular and digestive support. It is drought-tolerant, salt-tolerant, and extraordinarily container-friendly, a remarkable combination of resilience and nutritional value. This is a tree that asks for very little and gives back consistently. Dwarf banana, Musa acuminata, super dwarf Cavendish. The banana was one of the first cultivated plants on Earth, with evidence of its deliberate planting in Papua New Guinea dating back 8,000 years. Rich in potassium, B6, and resistant starch, a prebiotic fiber that feeds beneficial gut bacteria, the super dwarf Cavendish reaches only 4 feet tall and produces full clusters of fruit in a large container indoors or on a warm, sheltered patio. Few things are more rewarding than harvesting your own bananas. Morinda, or noni, Morinda citrifolia. And here, at number 20, we arrive at a fruit that Polynesian navigators carried across the Pacific for centuries, not merely as food, but as medicine. Noni contains zeranine, iridoids, and a range of bioactive compounds that traditional Pacific Island healers applied to inflammation, infection, and exhaustion. Modern research continues to investigate its immunomodulatory properties. In a large container on a warm patio, noni grows readily and fruits prolifically. It is perhaps the least known of today's 20, and it may become the one you return to most often. 20 trees, 20 stories stretching across thousands of years of human civilization, from the monasteries of medieval Europe to the trade routes of the ancient Silk Road, from the coasts of West Africa to the mountain valleys of China. The modern world wants you to believe that growing your own food requires land you don't have, time you can't spare, and skills beyond your reach. The ancient world knew better. A single tree in a single pot has always been enough to begin. You don't need a farm, you need a decision. In the comments below, tell us which of these 20 trees are you teaming up with first. Your answer matters because this community is built by people who choose to grow, to learn, and to take real ownership of their health and their future. We'll see you in the next one.